Hi, my name is Jan from Max on Low Code, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create a customized login page with Mendix. To begin with, we start with installing the design module in Studio Pro. Second, we're going to connect a page with classes so it can have effect on the style sheet we're going to create, and we end up with debugging CSS in our browser console. In our project, we start with the following setup for this tutorial. We have a non-persistent entity calling login with a username and a password and a rgba. We have a data source that creates the form object, and we have of course the page that we're going to customize. As you can see here, we use a data view as a context with a container holding all the elements. We have a login text header 2, some input boxes, 2 static images, a logo button and 2 text elements for eventually at the bottom. When we click here at the right, we see that we see a page explorer with some of the active overview looking us to click at the explored item, which have the corresponding elements being triggered. At the very right of our page, we find the properties with all the styling settings that Mendix provides out of the box. So that brings us to the next chapter, is how to connect the style sheets with the elements we have. So this brings us to the next thing we need to do, is we are going to assign class names to the page elements in order to later being able to put some style sheets behind these classes. So let's fill out the class names right now. You can take this over from the screens. There is however one thing that we still need to fix, and that is that in container 2 you see on the same level container 3, 4 and 5. We need to drag those into container 2 in order to get the result that we want. So let's do that real quick. So once we're done assigning class names to the page elements, we will switch back to the App Explorer and we can go directly to our design module and we open the custom login CSS file. This is the file where we're going to put all our styling for the custom login page. But before we dive into this, we need to set a few basic ground rules, which we address with the asterisk symbol. The few basic what we're going to do is we're going to set a margin on 0. We're going to set a padding on 0, so there is no space between our element and another element. And we set an extra box sizing is border, which basically means that if I'm going to put some padding or margin later on, it will not extend. And eventually, as a basic rule, we set our own personal custom font style. When it comes to custom styling with CSS in Mendix, I prefer to split my screen so I can see the effect of my SCSS script right away. So let me adjust that screen and we are good to go. First, what we're going to do is we're going to style the data view, which we had assigned with the class section. And in order to target the CSS in our CSS file, we need to put a dot in front of the class name in order to target that class. So, and in this section, we're going to set some basic rules for our screen. Is we're going to set our form in the very center of the screen, which means like a justified content is going to be in the center, align items in the center. In order to be able to do that, you need to set your display to flex. We're going to have a height of always 100% of the screen. We're going to set the background with a radiating background that gives some color, some nice feature, which allows us, or basically forces us to use the keyframes and the animation, which is basically going to turn around the colors on the background. So for all the other classes that we assign to the page element and that still needs to be styled, I'm not going to comment on every single thing on them. I've just typed them out. It's because it's not really a CSS course. It's really all about how to connect custom logic and custom style towards a Mendix application. So you don't have to type all along. I have a copy of all the CSS in the comments below this video, so you can get them there. For now, I'll just speed this a little bit up to fully implement all the CSS files. finally, the result of our custom login styling. As you can see, the login header falls out of style. I forgot to style it, sorry. So if you insist on fixing that, I think you have now enough knowledge to do that yourself. But there is, however, one more thing that we need to do, is to look at how Mendix translates this to the browser, and how can we debug something, for example this login that is still black. How can we debug it? Click on the icon of the left top of the console in order to activate the search mode, and this search mode allows you to find the class name and IDs of elements when you hover over them with your mouse. As we hover over the elements, you see a few of the classes that we have created ourselves in this tutorial. If you are searching for a specific class, you can press Ctrl plus the F and the search bar will pop up, in which you will fill out the class name that you're looking for. So, and this brings us eventually at the end of this tutorial, in which we looked at customized login page with Mendix. We went over a few things. We installed the design module in Studio Pro, in how we converted a regular module into a design module. We connected pages, classes with style sheets, and we looked into how to debug CSS with the browser console. So if you have any feedback on the topic or on this tutorial video, please set your feedback in the comment below this video. Thank you and keep learning.